Fashion has been quite balls lately. That's pretty good. So we all know what I'm talking about exactly. We get videos telling us how to improve your style by following these new trends, and if you don't follow this trend, you're not stylish, or how to improve your style by following these items that are currently what society is telling you to wear. That is currently the state of fashion in terms of social media, from the Instagram to the TikTok to balls talk, whatever you like to call it. That is what it's constantly pushing to us. But welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Fashion Elitist, aka JQ, but no one cares about me. Let's get right into the nitty-gritty stuff. Today we're going to be talking about the when, what, why, and investing in a timeless wardrobe. So I've divided into small sections so that we can just slowly get into it, so you can get an idea of when you should start a timeless wardrobe, why you should start a timeless wardrobe, and what is a timeless wardrobe, and last but not least, investing. So let's talk about when you should start a timeless wardrobe. You should build a timeless wardrobe now. As soon as you get into fashion, or even if you're into fashion currently in this day and age, you want to start building something now. It's all about building your foundation in this timeless wardrobe, where this constant need for over-consuming in clothing like fast fashion and any other clothing that you might be trying to find your own style in will be a waste of time, money, and your overall void that will never be filled. It will continue to grow very vast. You'll be very disappointed with where you get with your clothing and the options that you may have or you may feel like you need, and ultimately you'll be lost more than ever. Building your foundation in a timeless wardrobe typically involves minimalism, items that are very basic, very nonchalant. Y'all wanted me to be nonchalant. But yeah, like I've mentioned, you should start now as soon as possible, really invest in these items. But again, it's going to be a very slow process getting into fashion in a more actual big brain move type of thing. I think a lot of people misinterpret that getting into fashion is a very fast and easy thing to do. No, it takes time and progress, kind of like going to the gym. When you work out, you're not going to get progress immediately. And if you do have a trend or like some type of gear, yeah, you will get progress a lot faster, but the gear for us would be money. And if you don't have access to a lot of money and fundings for your closet, like myself, then you have to invest, and you do have to really save your money and be patient. Now, I know it's a little bit frustrating, but I'm going to try and break it down as much as possible to really get this idea really hammered into your head so that you understand where you can start, and so that it won't be as frustrating as it was for me when I first started out and was really wasting my money on items that no longer are in my wardrobe and just were a complete waste of time. Furthermore, believe me when I say this, build a foundation. It will be a lot easier as you grow into a different style just because of versatility of these basics. So now let's move on to what is a timeless wardrobe and what are timeless pieces. So as I briefly discussed in the when you should start, I talked about basics and things that aren't very eye-gawking. Basically, we find timeless pieces in minimalism, just due to the fact that there isn't much going on with the pieces, yet the construction, the way the silhouette works, and sometimes the materials that are used are a little bit different depending on where you buy these timeless pieces from. Now, ultimately, your wardrobe will very much thank you. It's very much a nice hot bath that you take with these pieces just because they circulate in a very interesting way. And what I mean by circulate is there's a lot of versatility with these pieces, because just like a lot of things, they kind of are very basic. And there's nothing wrong with being basic. They're not normal, but they're also not very extravagant. These pieces will stay in your wardrobe for quite a long time and will continue to grow in the ever-changing landscape of your style. So what is a timeless wardrobe? We've heard plenty of different types of things, like time capsule wardrobe or insert other ones I don't really remember, but a timeless wardrobe are items that will stay with you forever until they get broken or they get pooped on. However you may destroy or ruin your clothing, it's until that point where they leave your closet because they are completely destroyed or they're no longer of use. These items are meant to stay in your closet for the long term. They're like that commitment that you've been trying to avoid with that relationship of that boyfriend, GF, they, them, whatever they are. You have to stay committed to these pieces of clothing because they will stay in your wardrobe for a long time and they will stick by you. Now, these pieces aren't necessarily, like I've mentioned, eye-gawking. They're not like graphics like this t-shirt I'm wearing. I'm very casual today, you know, I'm very nonchalant. These pieces aren't very out there. They're not going to make a very huge statement in people's minds, and if you wear something again for the second time throughout the week, no one will really pay attention because it never really got too much attention. These items will stay very irrelevant in people's minds. It's not like a fit like this where someone's like, oh my gosh, I remember you wearing that yesterday or last week. They won't leave an imprint in people's minds. And that's the amazing thing about these items and building a timeless wardrobe. These pieces will stay with you, not only in your wardrobe, but in your day-to-day life. You can always switch out different parts in your customization of your NPC that you've built, and people won't really notice much of a change because, again, these items don't leave an imprint on people's minds. So basically, these items are very basic. Although they may have some little quirks to them with the construction of it or how it fits on your body and such and such and such, but ultimately they won't be rememberable. And that's the beauty in building a timeless wardrobe. These items will stay with you for a long time, and you can wear them every day if you wanted to. Kind of like a Steve Jobs type of fit, you know, it becomes your uniform almost. But it keeps the brain focused on building new, interesting character builds on a day-to-day basis versus then having a bunch of fast fashion clothing in your wardrobe that you soon forget about or get overwhelmed with because now your closet's full of junk and you don't know what to do with it because you have to sell them or you have to throw them away. Anyway, now let's talk about the why. I talked them to 4 little things: time, money, comfortability, and versatility. I've talked about versatility slightly, and as I mentioned before, it's very versatile with an ever-changing closet. As our space grows and our style changes, they will continue to be very much items that stick with us for a long time. They aren't staple pieces, no, and they aren't statement pieces, no. They are very basic and they will continue to stay in our closet for a long time. Again, we don't want to contribute to waste. That's what we don't want to do. Now, for money and time. Now, time is of the virtue. A lot of us are very impatient. Me, myself, and I'm quite impatient, but the thing with fashion is it's an ever-changing landscape and you have to be patient. You cannot fall for the trendy trappers that are trying to really reel you in to picking up these stupid fast fashion items that soon will become a fad, because most of the fast fashion and trendy items in this consistent trend cycle, and now we have micro trends, and that's like a different conversation I have to have. But with the trend loop, there's a lot of items that become fads and soon are out of place, and those have no room in your wardrobe. Sure, you may like items and that's fine to purchase things because you saw it and you were, exposed to something new and interesting. But again, you got to ask yourself, does this fit with your wardrobe and what you currently are building? And most of the time, if you've already built a timeless wardrobe and with timeless pieces, you most likely will be able to cater towards, buying some trendy items and so on and so forth. Now, the last thing I want to really emphasize is the comfortability. Now, this isn't for you older NPCs that you've already built your character around and built your style. This is for more of the new NPCs getting into the fashion landscape. Now, it's typically very difficult to really find your style and also feel comfortable in wearing something that's a little bit different. I understand that, and I know I struggled with that for quite a long time, and of course that really does depend on where you live and who allows you to wear what, because sometimes parents can very much be domineering and don't allow you to wear certain items because they feel like their mindset's the best mindset, these old heads. But ultimately, I'm sure your pops and your mom will definitely love minimalism. They will love how it looks, they will love how you wear it, because it's not too different. Now, there is a difference with how you wear it. You can very much be very different from the crowd, of course, but there is very much advanced minimalism where you add different elements and also the different color palettes and stuff like that, and you can get very intricate with that whole minimalism. But definitely investing in the comfortability of your closet. You will be quite comfortable because you're not making a statement and you're also not doing anything that's too much out of your comfort zone. You will get quite comfortable with wearing what you're wearing, and that's the best thing you can do. And trust me, it's definitely worth it. Also, another thing I'd like to mention about comfortability. When you're evolving into a new style or a new genre of fashion, it gets quite expensive depending on where you go, because you can land yourself into techwear and you're going to be spending a pretty penny, especially on some of those items, or even Avant or certain punk items. It really just depends on where you go. Now, the thing I recommend after you've built your timeless wardrobe, where you got some pieces that are very timeless in itself, you will be able to now kind of venture off into your new found style or new genre of fashion that you found yourself and you feel very comfortable in because you finally figured out, now I can love myself wearing these very basic clothing. So now it's time to move up and be a little bit more uncomfortable because I feel like this isn't who I am and it's not representing myself. So once you go into finding different genres, I recommend not buying full outfits. I recommend buying very small first. For example, like this bangle I'm wearing, it's it's like punk, I guess. Bangles and leather straps and stuff like that are typically in more grungy and or punk stuff. And buying small little accessories to allow yourself to, slowly move into like a new genre will let you very much save money and time, because when you buy these small accessories, you can kind of push the boundary a little bit. You don't want to go all out and then go balls deep into buying a huge leather like jacket that's studded and then putting it on and then wearing out and then feeling like, this is not really me. What are you going to do with that piece later? You can't sell it, can you? It is quite expensive to really invest into a lot of items, and I think that's where a lot of people push this idea or notion onto others, thinking that purchasing a whole wardrobe that is catered to a specific style will definitely help you find your style, or venturing into a bunch of different styles throughout the month or weeks or whatever time span you have, and that will help you find your style. No, it won't. Buying small accessories in certain genres of style, like a bag, glasses, bangles, rings, whatever that may be, maybe a shirt, start out very small. If you feel comfortable wearing it, maybe invest into something a little bit bigger. It's all about saving the money, your time, and ultimately your mentality. Because you will get sad, you will get quite disappointed because you just wasted so much money. You spent racks on this like new leather jacket and you're like, damn, I don't even like this anymore. So remember, buying clothes is very much like our emotions. They come very fast and very hard, but you soon lose that feeling that you got. Kind of like love. You love someone one day and you hate them the next day. Don't trust your emotions, and also don't trust what you feel might satisfy that quench or that thirst in your mind for this clothing piece. Remember. Wow, I'm quite fast. I've already gone through the 3 when, what, why. Now we're here at the last place, your final destination, investing. This is going to hurt your head and it's going to very much hurt your wallet, but trust me, investing in sustainable pieces that aren't fast fashion are very much going to be your best bet. What I mean by that, there's a couple of different reasons on why I'm saying this. Obviously, buying sustainable does help the environment and also help these smaller brands grow and continuing to make better products and better items. Now, I don't need to give the whole spiel about fast fashion and very bad materials, very bad sourcing, very bad labor practices and unethicalness in general. And, obviously the push for trendy items, blah, 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 blah. Now, the thing is, buying into items that you're investing your money into, you will really double think on what you're purchasing. There's actually psychology behind marketing and also fast fashion. Fast fashion caters to the part of your brain where it makes you feel great because you're buying a bunch of items for quite low, and you won't have that guilty remorse feeling of purchasing items. There's a 3-step program that I forgot that our mind goes through when you're trying to convince yourself to buy an item. With fast fashion, it just works a lot faster because you're not really investing a lot of money. Now, the thing is, when you're investing into a more sustainable piece or something that is very much better for you overall, and it costs a pretty penny, you will go through the mind palace of really convincing yourself why I need this. Will this fit me? Will I wear this all the time? And those are questions that need to be brought up in your head, because ultimately, if you have that conversation with the second person in your head, you will definitely know if you will actually wear this piece or not. With fast fashion, you don't really go through the mental gymnastics of actually convincing yourself on needing certain items. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's very fast compared to actually investing into like a pair of pants that might be $100 or $60. And you might be like, will I actually wear these? Are these something I really want? And once you purchase them, you will feel the need to wear them consistently because you want to get your money's worth. Now, not only is that also a good reason to buy and or invest into pieces, there's also another reason: the quality, the materials used, and the construction of the clothing. A lot of fast fashion companies use one typical pattern, or aka a very specific cut, and sometimes those cuts aren't very interesting on the body, especially on your body or mine. Now, with items that you're investing into, they have different types of cuts and also have more interesting construction when it comes to clothing pieces that are made. And that's definitely going to be something you want to put your time and money into, because it might look a lot better on you than buying some type of fast fashion that's on the market currently. Now, I always recommend, investing into pants and shirts and, things like that. And there's a little list I'll put down of what I think is the main priority down to the very, very last of your priority list. Now, I always recommend people to really save their money. You want to save your money to invest into these pieces that will be very much in your closet long term. Now, there are a few brands that I can recommend, and I will, write a little list out here, and I do buy from these brands from time to time. These are pieces that I've owned and that I've worn before, and that I've also sold on my Instagram to others. This is not sponsored. This isn't anything that I'm like, oh yeah, you need to buy from this because, they're giving me money. No, I'm broke. The thing is, I'm trying to help you guys out to actually purchasing items because I very much hate the landscape of what social media and fashion is pushing currently to this day and age. And to you new NPCs that are getting into this, I want you to be more involved with saving money, investing into good pieces that will stay with you for a long time. Let's destroy the textile waste and save the environment, whatever. Now, a lot of these places, they're going to be a little bit pricey. I know they are pricey, but like I said, and like I mentioned, you want to save your money to purchase these items. You can also wait. And what I mean by waiting is they have end of season sales, and that's when I've purchased a lot of my items from. I don't pay full price most of the time because I'm not like that. Wait for them to have sales and buy items. Sometimes Olive Clothing has pants for $40 to $60. It definitely beats out their $100 price range on their typical stuff, and sweaters, knits, and other things very much go down as well. AdSoul does amazing sales too as well, and I very much love their quality and construction. They have a different variety of like wide leg pants, balloon fit pants, and carrot fit sometimes. So you'll definitely have a ball there. W Concept is like a great area to purchase a lot of items from because they do have a very vast amount of inventory of different Korean brands that you can't physically get because you kind of do need a proxy, but they are a proxy service that I've purchased from in the past, and I've been quite happy with the items that I've received. But remember, check the measurements. Always make sure the measurements will fit you. You do not want to waste your time and money in buying something you think will fit you, but never check the measurements. Check the measurements, check the thigh, check the length, check the waist, make sure everything will fit you perfectly. Now, there's always a second option. If you don't want to buy firsthand or wait for sales, there is a secondhand market, and there are a few places that I can recommend right here that I do shop myself. And of course, if you need a lowballing method or tutorial, I have this video that I will link that you can go ahead and watch. Now, I definitely recommend buying secondhand designers like Acne, Our Legacy, if any other pop into my mind, I will also put them down, but those two brands definitely have a lot of essential pieces and very timeless pieces. I've owned them in the past. They're very good construction and they're very good quality. On top of that, I'd also like to mention that thrifting isn't always accessible to everybody just because thrifting prices get quite heavy and they're quite expensive, and sometimes people don't have the time to really drive to a thrift store, look through it, and ultimately be very crushed by the SpongeBob tee that they find at your local thrift store, the American Eagle shirt. It does get quite difficult to loot box and try and find certain items that might fit your criteria that you have in your mind, whether that's getting into like some type of different genres and stuff. It is quite difficult to find good stuff. Don't let TikTok fool you with these crazy people finding like amazing things. It takes months. Sometimes it takes weeks. Sometimes you're lucky and you find like that piece that will fit you. I've gone thrifting a lot, and let me tell you, I've been disappointed from time to time again, and it's just terrible. Of course, LA is very impacted with the whole thrifting culture, and that might not be for you, but again, if thrifting doesn't work for you or you don't have the time, I definitely recommend buying stuff from the secondhand market and very much try lowballing your best and or trying to find the best piece for the best price, Well, anyway, thank you for staying as long as you did in this video. I'm glad you were here to stay, and I'm very happy with the nice subscriber rate. I'm at 4,000 from the last time I checked. I hope you do like this new video that I've made, and yes, I've gotten a lot better. You can tell that was my second video. Please forgive me. I know I did not sound great. I was very cringy in front of the camera, and it's quite awkward. Trust me, it's as awkward as you think it is, staring into the abyss of this random camera that's staring at me. And yeah, it is quite uncomfortable, but I do live with it, and you can see it in my eyes that I'm quite dead inside, but that is okay. New videos every But anyway, remember to fill the void with timeless pieces. But I'd like to thank all my patrons. I very much appreciate you all for helping me and funding this little man, this very old man. I appreciate you guys supporting me, and I very much thank you all for helping me out. Everything's in the description if you'd like to really follow me on other platforms. I do respond to DMs and such. I do allow criticism. That is okay. You know, you can criticize some things, maybe some things that I need to really put my time and effort into. If you liked the video, leave a comment, and remember, please be happy. Have a fantastic, amazing, wonderful day, and remember, do not be an NPC.